9 safety tips when kayak fishing. If you're an avid kayak fisherman or you're just getting started, it is important to make sure that you're taking the necessary precautions to stay safe in the water. In this video, we'll be discussing the essential safety tips that every kayak fisherman should know before heading out into water.
Number 1.
It's very important to check the weather forecast days before, the night before, and right before you leave. Choosing the proper day and time to go out could determine if you'll be having a fun day of fishing or being in a life-threatening situation. Try to find a day with winds between 5 and 15 miles per hour. Check for possible thunderstorms, dense fog, extreme temperatures. I tend to start fishing just before sunrise until the sun is high and clear to avoid extreme heat during the summer. I use 5 apps. I use WeatherBug and My Radar. I use them for alerts to let me know if anything changes while fishing. I use Wind Finder to check the wind speed and the direction of the wind. I use iTides, very important when planning your trip if you want to know in advance how the tide's going to behave. You don't want to be dragging your kayak in the mud because the water's gone. I use Life360. I understand that there is some risk in kayak fishing, so I let my family know my exact location. It also shows the path I took in the event that something happened and my phone is off. There is a lot to gain in fishing with friends. It's a lot of fun, and you'll find out that getting skunked with friends is a lot better than getting skunked by yourself.
Number 2.
Check your kayak drain plugs. Make sure that they're tight. You don't want to be in an emergency situation where you are suddenly sinking. I keep spare plugs with me, and it's always smart to bring with you a bilge pump to quickly remove water in the hull of your boat in the event that you flipped or there's a water leakage. There you go.
Thank you, man.
No problem. I'll be around if something happens.
Thank you.
Number 3. This one tip that I want to give you and want to take from this video is avoid getting infections from the bacteria on these waters. It's very common that you poke yourself with hooks, that you have micro cuts in your skin. I've been stung many times by hard heads and by the spines on the redfish dorsal fin. So I have this powerful soap. It's a chlorhexidine, antiseptic, antimicrobial soap. It's used in hospitals to reduce the risk of infections. I have a friend that, he also almost lost his hand. The infection got out of control. So tip number 1 is avoid getting infections.
Number 4.
Always bring enough water and food, as dehydration and hunger can lead to poor decision making and fatigue.
Number 5.
Texas Parks and Wildlife requires you to have a 360 light, a whistle or horn, a personal floating device, which is very smart to keep it on at all times. This is a Type 3 PFD designed to be used for kayaking, canoeing, or paddleboarding. It's not suitable for rough waters that you shouldn't be fishing anyway. You gotta make sure that you're wearing the correct size and that he has the US Coast Guard approval. For kayaks, there's also the manually inflatables. You pull a string and it will release CO2 and inflates. You have also the automatic ones where you have 2 types. The ones that activates when moisture dissolves a little piece that triggers the CO2 cylinder and then inflates. And you have the one that activates by water pressure. This one you can spray, rain, splash, and it won't activate unless you submerge. To be able to use the inflatable PFD, you have to be at least 16 years old and know how to swim. The distress signal kit can be incredibly useful if you're in a kayak. It can help you attract attention and potentially receive help in a dangerous situation. These distress signal kits come with flares and other signaling devices that can be seen from a distance, which can make it easier for rescuers to locate you in an emergency. Learning how to re-enter your kayak after capsizing is an essential skill for any kayaker, as it can save your life in an emergency situation. Knowing how to re-enter your kayak quickly and efficiently can greatly enhance your safety while kayaking. If you capsize in rough or cold water, being able to get back into your kayak swiftly can prevent hypothermia or other dangerous consequences. Learning how to re-enter your kayak can boost your confidence and help you feel more comfortable underwater. If you know how to handle capsizing situations, you'll be less likely to panic and more likely to enjoy your time underwater. Here in South Texas, you basically have the hot and cold season when it comes to clothing. You have to protect your skin from the sun's UV rays at all times. The key is lightweight, breathable fabrics with ultraviolet protection factor at least 30, which blocks out 97% of UV radiation. Snakes can be found in and around the water, so be aware of your surroundings and keep an eye out for any snakes on shore or in the water. When fishing in the marshes of Texas, kayak fishermen should be aware of the wildlife that inhabits the area and take precautions to avoid any potential encounters. Be aware of alligator nesting areas. Avoid paddling or fishing in areas known to be alligator nesting grounds during mating season, from April to June, as alligators can become more aggressive during this time. Different communication devices may work better in different situations. For example, a cell phone may work well in some areas, but in other areas, there may be poor cell phone reception. In those cases, a VHF radio or personal locator beacon, PLB, may be a more reliable option for communication. In an emergency situation, a kayaker can use a VHF radio to make a distress call and request assistance from the U.S. Coast Guard or other nearby vessels. The following are examples of emergency calls on Channel 16. Channel 16 is an emergency channel just for emergencies, not regular conversations. The most urgent distress call will be the Mayday call, and it should be only used in life-threatening situations. And the message would go like this: Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. All stations, all stations, all stations. This is white and blue kayak, Tango X-ray 1234 Alpha Bravo. We are located 2 miles west of the crew change spot boat ramp. My kayak capsized and taken on water. There are 2 anglers in our group. One of them has a head injury. We request assistance. Over. In a Mayday call, you call Mayday 3 times, followed by all stations 3 times to let know anyone in the area that you need help. Identify if possible using the phonetic alphabet. Describe the main color of your kayak. State your location. Some VHF radios comes with GPS and they're able to send distress signals. You gotta state what's wrong, who needs medical assistance, how do you need help, how many people in the group, and finish saying over to let everybody know the end of the transmission. And if found, contact sticker on a kayaker's vessel can be extremely helpful in an emergency if the kayaker becomes lost or separated from their vessel. These stickers typically contain the kayaker's name, emergency contact information, and other relevant details such as medical conditions or medication requirements. If a kayaker goes missing or is involved in an accident, having this information readily available can help search and rescue teams quickly identify the kayakers and the emergency contact. To gather more information about the kayaker, such as their planned route or any medical conditions that may impact their ability to survive in the wilderness. Remember, if you want to participate for the giveaway for the ultralight all 18 rod, please go back to my Chatterbait 2 video, leave a comment saying my personal redfish is, and good luck. Remember, that's for local anglers only. Local anglers only. See you guys next time, the first chance we get.